Y'all know it's so funny. I was getting ready to tell my story about how someone stalked me for about 5 years. Not only did I have a dream about this person last night, girl, like, this shit is just real crazy. Like, I think I'm ready to tell my story. I've had this girl obsessed with me for about, I don't know, since 2018 or whatever. Like, I purchased something from her store on Etsy, and I thought we was cool. But then, like, she ended up being, like, batshit crazy, like, real crazy. Okay, so story time. So I used to have an account on Etsy where I sold, like, some of my own merchandise and product. And I came across another black small business owner. So, you know, me being a girl's girl, I'm like, oh, let me support her. So I supported her and bought one of her products. And shortly after I bought one of her products, like, she DM'd me on Etsy and was like, hey, I just want to thank you for, you know, supporting my business, blah, blah. And we just kind of kicked off from there. Mind you, I didn't think nothing of it. So she just kept messaging me back and forth. And at some point, we eventually formed a friendship. I gave her my number. She lived in another state. And I was thinking, okay, like, this is cool. You know, I'm always support another black woman. And at some point, she started following me on social media. Not really sure how she found me on social media, but I followed her back. So she started following me on my social medias, all of them. I'm like, okay, so I'm not really thinking nothing of it. You know, I'm thinking she just want to, like, you know, support, be a girl's girl, whatever. So anyways, I started dealing with the guy, like, we were on and off or whatever. And I'm not really the type that you can play with. Either you in or you in. And if you out, you out. If you come back in, you got to put a ring on that finger. That's the only way you really going to get my attention or get me to stay. So that's what he did. In 2020, he came back. We got engaged the same year. Mind you, that when I tell you that's a story in itself, it's a story in itself, because we got back together during the Venus retrograde of 2020. And if you survived that or you dated anybody during that time, girl, you know how that shit ended, okay? Okay. But anyways, so around that time, like in 2020, I remember that summer, like, she just popped up. Like, she'll call and be like, hey, I'm in Atlanta. I'm like, okay, cool. So, you know, I would say, hey, you can meet me at this spot, or we go out to eat. We go out to, like, little brunches, little hookah spots or whatever. And of course, me, like, I feel like if my friends travel to come see me, or they're traveling and visiting the city that I reside in, I always take care of the bill. It's just me. I don't know. It's a thing. I don't mind treating my friends. I love my friends. I don't like splitting the bill, right? Because my friends do the same for me. Like, if they invite me out, they take care of the bill. We never have separate checks. And in addition to that, like, you know, my partner at that time always made sure I was good. So, you know, lunch, dinner, whatever was most of the time on him. But I always noticed, like, she just kind of had, like, a weird vibe. Now, over the years, like, we started to get a little closer, especially in 2020. And she shared with me, like, some personal things about, like, how her mom doesn't like her. Like, she's had a very estranged relationship with her mom. And she had this huge disdainment for being identified as black. Mind you, she's a black woman. I'm a black woman. I'm Gullah Geechee, but at my core, I'm still going to identify as a black woman. She would always say weird things about, like, not identifying as a black woman. So that in itself was very strange to me. It correlated her sense of identity, or lack thereof, with the experience that she had with her mother growing up. Because if your mom don't like you and you never really learn how to tap into that feminine energy, I feel like that has long-term psychological effects if you don't heal that. So in a sense, I've always felt sorry for her. So she made, like, little comments, like little digs, like very minute digs. I really didn't pay no attention because I know it was coming from a place of hurt. Like, I operate from a place of passion and compassion. So before I get upset at someone, I offer them grace. And I felt like I offered her a lot of grace, right? Because the things that she was saying wasn't blatantly disrespectful. It was like little small jigs. Like, for an example, the first time that she came to my home, she looked around and she's like, oh, you have crystals everywhere. I don't know how you could be protected with crystals. Little did I know that was a red flag in itself. I just did not know. But she would make little comments like that. And I was just like, what? Okay, like, you know, whatever. I'm not really thinking too much of it. The girl's weird, but, you know, maybe she's from a small town. She's from Gainesville, Florida. Actually, she's originally from the Bahamas, but when she was like a little girl, like 3 years old, like her mom stopped taking care of her and sent her to live with her grandparents in Gainesville, Florida. And I knew that she had like a really rough life. Like she kind of grew up in the streets, kind of similar to Jocelyn Hernandez. And just for anybody that know, when you don't have a relationship with the first woman in your life, that really can affect how you form relationships with other women. Always been really graceful with her and understanding like, hey, like this is the long-term effects of her not building that relationship. So I'm going to be a woman that show her grace. And every now and then, again, like she would make little comments like, oh, a queen is this, a queen is that. And I don't understand how somebody can identify themselves as a queen. And being queen, you have to be crowned in another village and all kind of weird shit she was just saying. Because when she came around and she came in my town, when people addressed me, they always called me queen. They either called me Queen Cat, Queen, or Thundercat. And I guess that kind of rubbed her the wrong way. But to identify as a queen does not necessarily mean that you rule over someone else or you demand respect from others. That's a part of it, demanding respect from others, but it's your essence. Being a queen is respecting your body, respecting your boundaries, being in tune with your inner being, being in tune with that boss bitch side of you. You know, that's what a queen is. It is to rule oneself in true confidence and true identity and true love and true acceptance. That's what it means to be a queen. It is to have full sovereignty over your body and your life and your destiny at the highest form of love and respect that's unique to you. That's what it means to be a queen. And walking in the essence as a queen, people instantly respect you. You're gonna have haters, of course, but those haters don't like to ever try you. So I guess that's something that she never witnessed up front from other women. So I guess that's something that she felt threatened by. And essentially, I just felt sorry for her. I felt really sorry for her. So I just didn't take things personal. Now, here's where it gets crazy, y'all. So back in like 2022, my fiance at that time, we decided like, this is not going to work for us. Like, we broke up. And girl, I'm going to tell y'all this. If you've ever said that God remove anyone from my life that is not for me, baby, when I tell you that prayer will sweep through like a reek, when I tell you that thing will clear out so quick, I did that prayer and the next day, me and my ex-fiance broke up. And I was like, you know what? God, this is a sign. Divine, this is a sign. I'm going to take it. So, you know, he ended up sleeping in my office, but he stayed there for like about a month after we broke up. This was like back in April 2022. That's when we broke up. So around that time, I noticed that same girl, the girl that's stalking me, what are we going to call her? I wouldn't even give her name. We're going to call her Alex, okay? We're going to call her Alex. So at that time, Alex kept popping up to my house like every single week. Mind you, she lives in a different state. That's at least an 8-hour drive. She was popping up like 3 days a week. Driving back and forth 3 days a week. And I thought this was so strange. So whenever she would pop up at my house unannounced, I would always take her to the patio. Just something in me would tell her, let's not sit in the house. And on top of that, I smoke, she smokes. So I don't smoke in my house because I have a child. So we would always be on the patio the whole time. I would ask her, like, what are you doing here? Like, why are you in Atlanta? What brings you to Atlanta? And she would always say, I have a mentor. I'm here to see my mentor. And I'm like, 3 days a week and you driving up every day? Very strange. Mind you, remember that prayer I said, right? Don't forget that. Let's remember that. Said the prayer. Y'all, tell me why every time after that, 3-4 times in a row, she got into a car accident on her way coming up here. She totaled her car, turned around, rented another car, totaled that car, rented another car, got in an accident with that car all within a 2-week time span. And then she kept trying to take flight. Things was happening with her flights. Y'all, if that wasn't God's protection, let me know if y'all want me to do a part 2 because it gets real juicy after that. I'm going to tell y'all what happens after that and how this person tried to unalive me.